is time now to get fair dinkum. And first up, the latest poll shows Labor has a 50-50 chance of winning the election with two-party preferred results at level figures. The coalition still leads the primary vote, 44 to 39, but Mr Rudd has pulled ahead of Mr Abbott as preferred Prime Minister with 55% of voters to Tony Abbott's 41%. Sky News commentator Graham Richardson and former Liberal Senator and former holidaymaker Amanda Vanstone is back, folks. Big round of applause for our two commentators this morning. Was that a big round of applause? These people have got up early for us, people. Once more, thank you. Righto. This is a show.
And a large crowd were on their toes.
Is that, Graham, as good as it gets for Kevin Rudd?
Probably. But I tell you what, it is remarkable. I mean, you just sort of said it so easily. Labor 39, that's a 10-point jump in the first preference vote. It's huge. And if you actually watched any of that footage yesterday from Cairns, the guy is a rock star. They come out of everywhere to go and see him.
Well, come on, he's just a celebrity at the moment. That's all he is.
Yeah, but it's very unusual for a politician to be one, isn't it? How many politicians are celebrities? Tony Abbott's not a celebrity, that's for sure. Now, Rudd's done a remarkable job in a few weeks. Now, he's managed to keep it there for 18 days. That 50-50 jump is staying, and I think that's pretty important. He thinks he can increase it. I don't.
So you would go earlier to the election?
I would go right now.
What date would you be looking at?
24th of August, 31st of August.
And he has a meeting with Cabinet next week, and so he'll be seen to be showing them that he's the boss, and this is the election date that he'll pick.
He's done that, I think. Yes, he's already managed to do that, I think.
So what I'm saying, though, is he goes into that meeting and then he calls it.
Well, that's what I'd do. But this guy is a little different to me. And this guy has an ego that's as big as all outdoors. He may well decide that he wants to go to the G20. But they love the G20. They love the mixing with world leaders. I remember Hawke coming back once, just after he'd been elected, saying, I and other world leaders. And as soon as he said that, I thought, we've got a big problem here. And that's what's going to happen with the old Kevy, I think.
No matter what, whether the coalition accuses him of being, all style, no substance, no matter what they say about him, this is a bad poll for Tony Abbott, Amanda?
Well, look, I think it's good for the nation to show there's a real contest going. That'll get people focusing again, so that is a good thing. And Graham's right, it's a terrific turnaround for Labor because of Kevin Rudd. But in the end, you don't want sort of Kevin Kardashian running the country. It's not just about someone who's popular in supermarkets. Why don't we have a boy band running the country? They're popular in supermarkets too. Let's give them all a go.
But it doesn't matter what you say in regards to that. I mean, I don't know whether that's going to work. You're not going to dent his popularity.
No, not necessarily his, but in the end, I think Australians, they're not stupid. And they've had a dose of Kevin, and they didn't like him. That's, after all, why Julia got rid of him. And I think they remember that. Certainly, just doing my shopping on the weekend, small business people come up and say, what's happening here? He's the guy that messed it up. They got rid of him. Why have they put him back? So he is popular with a certain group, that's true. He's done a good job in bringing the Prime Minister popularity levels back. There's still a fair way to go before Australia says, we want another dose of this lot.
It depends
they don't want another dose of your lot.
Depends on who you are and where you've been. I had an exact opposite experience at the shops on Saturday morning.
Did you?
Exact opposite. People come out and saying we're back in the race. Well, actually, it's at Bondi Junction.
OK.
What, not Double Bay?
Well, there's very few shops left in Double Bay. I eat in Double Bay. I don't shop there.
Double Bay, double pay.
Hey, listen, no matter what happens, though, it puts the coalition in a level of difficulty here because they don't know for certain whether that vote for Kevin Rudd in the popularity stakes is going to translate to votes. How do they approach it?
No one should know for certain.
And meantime, Malcolm Turnbull's starting to believe the polls that he's, the most significant, he's got the most significant amount of support.
Yeah, but look, don't get yourself excited. Nothing's happening.
I'm not. This is what Malcolm's getting excited.
Yeah,
of course he is.
Well, he didn't bother getting excited. Nothing's happening there. Nothing's happening there.
When you put your hand on your hip like that, you're about to say something very important.
Right, exactly. And the point is, at the next election, whenever it is, and I agree with Graham, if I were advising Kevin, I would say go now. But I think the lure of G20... I mean, this man is a serial phone pest. He gets our embassies, gets on the phone and says, get Winston Churchill on the phone. He says, all right, get Thatcher. All right, get someone else. Angela Merkel is hiding in the toilet. She doesn't want to be rung up by this guy again.
Yes.
So he will want to go to the G20. Don't forget, we host it. That was one of Julia's better interventions when she told us that world leaders like Obama and others would finally be able to say they've been to Brisbane. We're all very excited about that. So, Kevin
There's nothing wrong with that.
we're hosting it next year, and Kevin will want to be there in the G20 before, so it'll be a difficult decision for him between rational politics that says go now and ego which says go to the G20 and make out like you're a world leader.
OK, Richard, let's talk one level of policy. It looks like he's going to scrap the carbon tax over the coming days. You and I have talked about this in the last couple of weeks, but the question I want to know from you, the answer to this morning is, what happened to the greatest moral, economic and social challenge of our time?
Well, as you know, I'm a believer in climate change. I still believe it's a huge social challenge, and nothing's changed in that respect, even with Kevin Rudd. I've been advocating ETS since they announced the carbon tax, which was a disgraceful decision, particularly at the amount they set it. It was ridiculous. You've got to be somewhere at the world price. And so that doesn't change anything about your belief in...
Where are they going to find the $4 billion?
In the issue. Well, they're going to have to go and find it. But I mean,
taxpayers.
But see, $4 billion is exactly what the coalition are going to spend on their direct action scheme. Where are they going to find that? Taxpayers. See, it always comes back to the same thing.
Well, I have a different view, you see.
You haven't answered Richard's question. I thought he had you on the spot there, which is unusual.
No. Look, it's perfectly simple. I think most people believe...
Perfectly simple.
I think it is.
Oh.
Most people believe that human activity does impact on carbon emissions and we should be doing something about it. Most Australians don't believe we should jump ahead of the rest of the world in doing something, and in doing so continue to add to the costs of our business. We're already, as the Fin Review keeps pointing out every day, one of the most expensive places to do business, and as mining companies shove offshore and go to Africa instead, sooner or later the unions will realise jobs are going down the chute.
But the thing is...
Where does the $4 billion come from?
That's all popular anyway. Like, what he's doing is going to be popular with the electorate, you'd have to think, regardless of any...
You don't think they believe that they're going to have cheaper electricity, do you?
Well, regardless of anything, I think that's going to be more popular.
We're going to do this, we're not going to do it, we are, we're not, we are, we're not. It's like picking petals.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Sorry.
But we come back to the point that Kevin Rudd is levelling out, seemingly levelling out the policy so it becomes a mano between two people, and he's more popular.
Well, it is mano a mano between the two of them. It's always been more of a leadership contest for the last, how many elections? I don't know. Leadership popularity is important, but it isn't everything. And I believe they've had a taste. It's not as if they need to have a lick of the ice cream called Kevin Rudd. They've had that. They didn't like the flavour and spat it out.
Well, they don't seem to be spinning it too far at the moment, do they?
Well,
he seems to be selling all right at the gelato shop. Welcome back from Italy. Nice to see you again. Graham, nice to see you.
It's been an enormous pleasure.